You guys, I love getting your comments and questions. It gives me really good ideas on vlogs. This question here came from Ryan, and it said, "Hello, Sandy. I was wondering if you cedar your ewe lambs on their first year of breeding. If so, how much success do you have? I'll be buying a small flock of 160 from my neighbor, which will put me up to about 200. And my wife and I are both going to still work full-time, so we're trying to figure out ways to make that first year easier until I can break them up into groups, if you know what I mean, LOL." And I totally know what you mean, Ryan. I've had a really good discussion with another good friend of mine, Sarah, and she's just getting into sheep too. So same kind of questions. What is my criteria of determining if a ewe lamb is ready to breed? We're going to dive into that a little bit more today. Last week, Emma, my co-op student, we sorted and we put in cedars. You guys know my cedar protocol. If you can't remember, what we do is we bring all the ewes into the handling system. I take the little cedar and put it in an applicator. I lube up the applicator and I insert it. Then I put everything in the system just to keep good records of everything. Tomorrow will be day 12, so that'll be the day that I pull them and start breeding them. And then the other group that Emma and I did, we did that just this past week, so I think on Tuesday, so they won't be ready to pull till Sunday. One of the most asked thing I've been getting lately, how do I decide when a ewe lamb is ready to breed, and what does that look like on my farm? And there is a researcher that does have a presentation, honest to God, the best advice that I've heard yet on how to grow a ewe lamb. Everybody says something different. Some say you can breed them at six months. Other people say, no, wait till they're a year. These are the lovely ladies that are going to be introduced to the rams tomorrow. These ewes were born in July. I had these girls mixed in with these girls here. These ladies were born in September. So I did have the group together just for logistics and space, but I did sort them out before this group. I decided that I did not want to breed this September group yet. So I'll breed them in July. The professor that I'm talking about is Richard Ehrhardt. He is a prof at Michigan State University, and I have heard him speak in webinars quite a few times, and always find him really interesting. The presentation that I have, this was kind of a game changer in the way I thought about ewe lambs, and just because I had no idea when I should be breeding them. Should I still be using cedars? Some people are like, oh, you can't even get a cedar in a ewe lamb. You should never use cedars. So many different people telling me different things. So he does have a pretty good chart here, just saying when is the best time to breed those ewe lambs. And what I have found, my spring-born ewe lambs breed really well after that change of the season. Those spring-born lambs, I like them to go through that winter solstice. So I want them to go through that change. I don't know if there's any science behind that, but what I find is they conceive fairly well in January. This group that I'm breeding tomorrow, those are July-born lambs. I did not breed them in January. I could have, but I decided not to. I just figured even June was pushing it. They really are barely old enough. So we will see how it works tomorrow. I do use cedars and PMSG. Like all the other ewes, I don't change that, and partly with that, it's again just that I want that tight lambing group. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're first time lambers or 8th time lambing. I want a tight lambing group, and that's for my management. There is an influence on nutrition if you're growing them fast or slow or whatever. Again, I don't really treat my ewe lambs much differently than the market lambs. I'm supposed to be. We're supposed to be feeding them very slowly. When I'm looking at the weights every week, I'm not keeping those ewes that have gained like a pound. I don't have ewes that gain a pound a day. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't really take the top and I don't take the bottom scrub. So it's kind of the medium ones. I like to pick ones that are typically a twin or a triplet. This year I needed the numbers on the ground. So what Richard said and what another fellow sheep producer said, what he's doing is, you know what, when you're trying to increase your flock, just keep them all. And if they don't catch in that first go around, get rid of them so they can still be considered a ewe lamb and you can get a good price for her at the market. You know what, it's a good way to kind of honing in on the traits you want in your flock. If I want these girls to be breeding at a fairly young age and they're not catching, then maybe I should be considering getting them gone. What I have found, and again, this kind of went back to my last point, if you wait and breed those ewe lambs when they're, 70 to 75% of the body weight that they would be as adult sheep, I found that really helps too. I usually see that in and around that 7-month period. They're a real nice size ewe. I think genetics plays a pretty big role too, as if they're gonna catch early versus late. I do have fairly prolific breeds. So anything with that Rito in them that have the tendency to kind of breed whenever, like all year long, and Dorset even, they're good breeders all year long. If you know your ewe lambs have that capability of breeding kind of any time of the year, that's also another kind of a good little detail. So the season of birth, genetics, and rate of growth of those ewe lambs, I would say, are pretty key contributors to how I decide if I'm gonna breed my ewe lambs or not. I'm glad you guys asked me about the ewe lambs because I have struggled with this and not knowing really what the science is behind anything. It's made me really look back to see what's worked and what hasn't worked. Hello? Are you needing it? Are you on in here? Okay. I got kicked out because someone had a conference call. So what do you guys do? What's your protocol? What's your criteria for keeping a ewe lamb, breeding a ewe lamb? When do you breed them? Do you have things, do you have a list of things that you look for? I will link Richard's website. Actually, I'll put the slide right in my presentation here, but I'll also link his website below. I'll also link Cody Creelman's stuff below, plus his merch. Do you guys think I need merchandise? Do you think I'm at that point of vlogging? I don't know. The problem with doing all this extra stuff is I don't have a lot of time. I barely have time to get back to your awesome comments. Sometimes I check my phone when I'm doing something and then I forget that I opened it and then I don't see it again for like 3 or 4 weeks. So I apologize for people who have tried to connect with me and you can tell that I've opened it and then I see a squirrel and I'm lost again for days. It's one of those things I like to do in the morning while I'm drinking my coffee, is go through all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for your support and watching. This Sunday already is my year anniversary of when I put out my first vlog, so I'm pretty pumped about that. If there's anything you guys want to see for my year celebration, my channel birthday, if there's questions or shout outs or anything like that, throw that in the description below, or if you prefer messaging privately, go to Instagram or Facebook. I love getting your messages over there when I remember to reply to them. If you know people that are interested in this kind of content and stuff, share it with them. I am working on the channel to make it better and more organized and prettier. So again, it's early morning, late nights when I can do that stuff. It's not really a part of our business model, so all that stuff is extra time. Have a good day, guys. Have a good week. It's Monday. It's apparently going to be clean up this week. Have a good one, everyone. See you later.